What's going on, guys? I've got a little issue with my truck. It's the 98 Silverado, and every time I get to towing something with it, it gets a little shudder and it starts like this loud squeak. And I'm pretty sure I've narrowed it down to our torque converter slipping when it shifts from third to fourth. So today I'm gonna get under here. I'm gonna change all the fluids. Not really all. I'm not gonna pump all the fluids out, but I'm gonna change whatever's in the pan, and I'm gonna add a little of this Lucas Oil stop slip. This should help. From everything I've read, typically when we add that and I change the filter and the gasket, it stops all the shuddering. One thing that you've got to understand on these trucks, that pan is not always the same. In 97 they turned it into you can have a shallow or you could have a deep. I have a deep because you can tell because it has this little groove dip and it's not painted. Typically the shallow on this truck is painted. That could not be the case, you know, if you live in a rusty state or something like that, but typically it is painted for a shallow. So I'm going to get under here and I'm going to start draining this fluid if I can drain it. If not, I'm going to have to do like a control drain where I take off a couple bolts on the back and let it start to leak and then eventually drop the pan. So I've got a tarp so that we don't make a mess. Got my container, and we're going to get started. So after getting under here and actually looking, there is no drain bolt on my pan. I thought maybe there'd be one there, and this is my first time doing it, but there is not one. So I am going to have to get some tin foil and make a ramp right here that kind of funnels into where I'm going to pour. All right, so right now I've taken out the back, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts. And what I'm gonna do is a control drain. I'm gonna loosen all the other bolts up and let the back of this pan drop like this so that it starts to pour the fluid out. And once the fluid gets going, I'm gonna shove me a piece of tin foil up right here and create a ramp to my drain pan. All right, so I was starting to back the bolts out, but this was getting in my way, and I noticed that there was a heat shield right here that was kind of also holding the pan. So I had to take the bolts off and drop this little heat shield in order for me to be able to move this over enough so that I can drop the pan. But it's starting to drop slowly. There's a little bit of fluid starting to leak out, so I'm going to keep backing these bolts out nice and slow. Right now they're just about hand loose and it's slowly dropping it. And not a lot of fluid's coming out yet, so I'm going to keep backing them off. We're going to keep going. Let me take this bolt off. I'm going to leave one bolt in it. Support it with my hand, but I'm gonna need to go ahead and put the tin foil up there. So right now it's only held up by that and this one bolt. So what I'm gonna do while I have the time, put this pan in place. Kind of get a controlled drip at it. As best as we can. And that's why you put the tarp down. drain in a minute. I back after the wrench a turn, or the screw a turn, and it kind of
lets more out.
Yeah. I'm just trying to do a control drain so we don't make too much of a mess. Even though a little bit's on a tarp already. Let's see if I can get some. Oh, okay. A little bit more. Once I take this pan off, I'm going to scrub it down, clean it up.
Man, that looks real clean.
Yeah, but we're going to change that. I'm going to make sure all of these bolts, there's a series of them, I'm going to make sure they're all torqued down to 8 foot-pounds of torque.
Good.
Alright, so far the pan's fairly clean. In most pans, there's a little metal, magnet that'll hold them. This is all metal shavings that'll come off. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean this pan up, scrub it down real good with some brake cleaner, and get it looking new again. I got to get this gasket off. This gasket is, on here, so I'm probably going to take a razor blade and scrub it off. I got a brand new gasket, brand new filter. We're going to get this all cleaned up,
So I can see it.
and I'm going to put it back in. Get this old 22-year-old gasket on.
Nice and easy, Happy. Nice and easy.
Oh, let me get in there. This is gonna be a pain.
I did it one piece at a time.
Oh, that's what it's looking like it's going now. Oh, I lost it. I was doing so good. All right, I'm gonna slowly wiggle this filter out. Slowly. And good. The filter's actually got a good bit in it too. I'm gonna break this apart and see if we got any collections in there. Alright, what I'm gonna do is each of these little bolts need to be tightened down to 8 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go through here and make sure all of them are right and nice and tight. And then we're gonna put the new gasket on the pan, put the new filter back up, and then we're gonna be able to start filling it full of some fluids. Good. Rail right there to get in my way.
Come on, Mama, I was working out here. Yeah. Yeah. There's that big hog flies over too.
Good.
Got a gigantic one who likes to fly in our backyard.
Yeah.
He's as big as a buzzard.
So like I was saying, we had to torque all these down. While I was doing it, there was exactly 6 that were close to 8, but not 8. So I went ahead and made sure they're all properly 8. Now we're going to put this new filter up in here, and we're going to put that Lucas Oil shutter fix in here and see if it's going to tighten it up. But you got to make sure these are 8. Don't go higher than that, or you could hurt the gasket. This is its own little seal, and it's got to be just right for it to sit properly and to function properly. All right, so we just got back from the auto parts store. The kit that we were given was not the proper transmission filter, so we had to make a run back to get this one. This one's got a little different grooves. The other one had a deeper filter hole and was different up here. So now I'm going to put this one in, and we're going to start getting everything bolted back up. All right, so I put the filter back on, and I've hand tightened each of these bolts because I have to torque them down to 8 foot-pounds. I'm going to put up on the screen, there's a star pattern in which you have to torque all of these down to. And it's crazy. It just shoots all the way across like this. But I'll have it posted up on the screen. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get these torqued down, and then we're going to start filling up with fluids. So, like I said before, I'm going to dump this in here first because I want it as like the base going in. And this is almost a quart. So I'm going to put this in here, and then typically when you change the fluids, it's anywhere from 3 to 4 quarts that come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump this one in first. I'm going to dump 2 of these, and then I'm going to crank up the car, let it run, and I probably need to add 1 more. I bought pretty much 5 altogether just in case, because it is a deep pan. I wasn't exactly sure, but the one that goes in is the Dextron 6 for this vehicle. You need to look in the manual of your vehicle to figure out which one goes in which vehicle, because it does differ. All right, now that I put the oil in, I put about roughly 3 quarts in it. I'm going to crank up the truck. I'm going to let it get up to temp, and then we're going to see where the level is at here, whether we need to add some more or not. And you always want to make sure you do that so you don't overfill and you don't underfill.
You'll put it on level ground.
Also, what you want to do once you change the fluids is I like to go ahead and pop it into each gear. Let it get settled in that gear. You know, it gives a little bit of a surge when you know you're in that gear. Just to make sure everything is getting coated, all the new fluids are going in there. And then we should be good to give it a little drive. I just checked the fluids, it's up to temp. It seems like it's running fine. I'm gonna give it a little drive. Other than that, it's not too long of a fix. It probably took me 2 hours with all the right parts. I did have to run to AutoZone and have to get a different filter. They gave me the wrong filter, you know, that happens. But other than that, and not too bad. Hopefully it fixes my shutter when I'm trying to tow something. And I mean, the shutter would happen even with like the lightest load. I gotta be pulling a small little 8-foot trailer with a lawnmower on it, and it would just have the hardest time going up a steep incline because it was just slipping. So hopefully this fixes it, and I don't have to get my transmission, you know, torn down, redone, get a new torque converter, stuff like that. I'm trying to avoid that. All in all, this cost me probably $60 total to fix the whole thing, or to do what I did, flush the fluids and put that thicker stuff in there to help the shutter. But I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you like, subscribe. We just like to do little projects, so if you like watching us do little projects and fix certain little things, stay up to date with us. We'll catch you in the next one.